Shalom, first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, the true leaders of all Israel, whether you can receive that or not. And peace, love, and salutations to all you occupants pushing this truth and true sincerity. And I want to title this lesson, I'm going to use the acronym K.I.S.S, but we're not in the business of offending brothers, so I'm going to keep it, I'm going to make my new acronym. It's called Keep It Simple Servant. All right, because we're servants of the Lord. All right, you know that old saying is keep it simple, stupid. And we're, like I said, we're not in the business of offending brothers. So the acronym that I want to use is called Keep It Simple Servant, because this week alone, on this Sunday to start off this upcoming week, you got Bishop Nathaniel, the IOIC, chopping and screwing the scriptures. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this, get to some scriptures, and Lord willing, you edified.
Say something else. Don't let black Hebrew Israelites fool you into saying Ezekiel 38 is today. These black Hebrew Israelites get that dumb doctrine from Christians. Christians will read Ezekiel 38 and go, that's today. Have we reigned with Christ 1,000 years yet, brothers? No, we have not. So now we're in Ezekiel 38. Come on.
Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against them.
So this area is that area of Khazaria. Put the map up. I want Russia. I want Khazaria. This is that area. Find me the map. Find me the map. Because we pushing them right. That ain't it. We pushing them right back to where they were at. Like when you read in, hey, Yuri, you know what I want right now while they're looking for the map? Job 30. We want verse, I think 1 through 5. I'm not looking at it. Job 30 is explaining the dark ages. But then guess what? It's going to happen again. Come on.
Job chapter 30 verse 1. But now they that are younger than I.
They that are younger than I, meaning they're not the heirs of God. They're not his firstborn. We're God's firstborn. So that's what it means, they that are younger than I. Go ahead. Talking about the white man. Go ahead.
They that are younger than I have me in derision.
Read.
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Come on.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary.
For want and famine they were solitary on the earth. Go ahead.
Fleeing into the wilderness.
They fled into the wilderness.
In former time.
You can put it on the map.
In former time.
In former times.
Desolate and waste.
Desolate and waste. Hey, put the mountains of Caucasus Mountains up. I want the caves of Khazaria, the Caucasus Mountains. Right there. Yuri, read.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men.
We have drove them forth from among men. Go ahead.
They cried after them as after a thief.
We chased them like they stole something. Go ahead.
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys.
That's it right there. To dwell in the cliffs of the valley.
In caves of the earth.
In caves of the earth. Go ahead.
And in the rocks.
And in the rocks. So that was during the Renaissance, but guess what? Back to Ezekiel 24. Read that part again. It says they shall be shut up in prison.
Yes, sir. Isaiah. Yes, sir.
Isaiah, I'm sorry. Isaiah 24. I ain't looking at the verse. Help me out.
Yes, sir. I got you. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. And shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
They're going right back to that same prison. You remnant of Edomites, y'all cannot go past the Caucasus Mountains. Y'all stay right there. But then guess what? The Lord's going to tell us, release them. Let them go out. And their job, Gog and Magog, they're going to gather together an assembly of nations. They're going to be building weapons again. So now back to Ezekiel 38, verse 2.
So, as you can see, Bishop Nathaniel is clearly losing the oil. When you go to Matthew, the 25th chapter, the 5 foolish virgins and the 5 wise. So I'm gonna start off in 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter. 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times, and we're in the latter times, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. This breakdown that they just came up with, you can obviously tell he doesn't know how to quote scriptures, and he's just totally loose. He's just making it up. He's just winging it. He's giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. I'm gonna read this in the NLT. Now the Holy Spirit tells us clearly that in the last time some will turn away from the true faith. They will follow deceptive spirits and teachings that come from demons. And that's heavy because hey, that's why you gotta pray. All right. You can obviously tell Satan is working on this guy, Bishop Nathaniel. And basically what they're trying to say is in the kingdom of heaven, all right, basically Esau is going to have another go around on the Israelites. And that's nowhere in the Bible. Basically saying that after the 1,000 years of Yahushua, that 1,000 year period, that after that 1,000 years, Esau is going to come back up into the ranks and try to go to war with us. That doesn't make any sense at all. And there's been a lot of videos that brothers have done today alone on this Sunday with November the 12th, going into the 13th, of breaking this man's folly down. Verse 2, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. You can't tell this man anything. You can't tell half his congregation anything. These guys are zombies. You got all these guys marching up and down the streets, and they don't even have a page to teach the word. They just blindly follow Bishop Nathaniel and the other leaders of IUIC, and that's it. Let's go to 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. Let's start right here. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days, we're in the last days, perilous times shall come. Perilous goes into dangerous times. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. You see that in these Israelite camps, these cult of personality leaders. Uh, you don't even got to go through Yahushua. You just got to go through this certain leader on earth right now. Go through General Yohana or Bishop Nathaniel, the IUIC. They already put this deity spirit on them as if you need to go to them. It says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters. You got a lot of boasters. Hey man, Chief Ephraim is a boaster. And like I said, what happened with you guys last week? You was calling us all types of names and this, that, and the third, and you didn't do anything when you went up to Chicago, except for waste gas money. Blasphemers. Disobedient to parents. A lot of you guys, man, you learn from the apostles and elders. Now you're just little disobedient baby's kids, man. Unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. You say that we deal with 9-year-olds and we do this, that, and the third. That's false accusations. Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. You're despising the apostles and the elders and the men on down because we're giving you sound doctrine. Traitors. A lot of you guys are just spiritual Benedict Arnolds, man. Red coats, heady, high-minded. You think you're on the level, but you're not. Bishop Nathaniel thinks he's on the level, and he's just totally chopping and screwing the scriptures. All right. It says, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Having a form of godliness, you can sit up there with your Power Ranger garments and look all tough all you want. You have a form of godliness, but denying the power. How do you deny the power? By saying, "Oh, we don't know the name." How in the hell you got members in your camp named Yahweh and Malachi? He obviously is Hebrew names, but we don't know the name of the Lord. That doesn't make no sense at all. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. There's a lot of these Israelite camps, man. And the Lord is going to start judging these camps. So continuing on in 2 Timothy 3 and verse 10. And now this is the point I want to get to. Keep it simple, servant. But thou hast fully known my doctrine. We fully know the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shai from our apostles and elders. Manner of life, purpose, faith, long suffering. Yeah, we have to be long suffering with these butchered breakdowns. Charity, patience. We have to be patient because we got a lot of men that's waking up and they have to hear this over again. Be like, oh man, we got, there's men that's waking up every second, and they might be watching that breakdown from Bishop Nathaniel, and it's like, no, hold on, brother, no, we got to break this down the right way. We got to break the scriptures down the right way because there's a consequence if you don't break down the scriptures down the right way. These other guys, man, they're just winging it. All right, and there's a consequence for that, man. Read Deuteronomy 13 and 5. Now it says persecutions, and we're coming into that time. These other Hebrew Israelite camps aren't telling you the persecutions. They're just getting people married. And now I sent a video with I'm gonna say it, ISUPK begging people $200 to go to that little Passover, man. They're not warning you of the persecution. Hey, they're part of the persecution. They're gonna be the ones that's gonna stir stuff up and get the ministry blamed. It says persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch and Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. And we got to have that spirit of the Apostle Paul. He was shipwrecked. He was snake bitten. He was betrayed of countrymen. He was hungry. He was naked. He was in all types of perils, man. It says, yea, and all that will godly in Yahushua HaMashiach shall suffer persecution. And the servant is no greater than his master. So we got to keep these things simple, man, to let our people know. All this chopping and screwing the scriptures, man, is not going to build men up for the times to come in. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, chopping and screwing the scriptures, deceiving and being deceived. And that's these other camps, man, deceiving people. Now here's the point, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Teach what was taught. Keep it simple, servant. Keep it simple. There's nothing wrong with going to the milk. See, Bishop Nathaniel was talking about, he basically saying Ezekiel 38 is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. That is clearly false. When you go to Ezekiel 38 chapter, it's talking about today, Gog and Magog, those so-called Russians in that land. They are confederate with Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and Gomer, which is Turkey. And you can clearly go to Wikipedia and look up relations between Russia and Iran, relations between Russia and Libya, Russia and Ethiopia, Russia and Turkey. The scriptures are lining up what's happening today in these latter times. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Don't deviate from it. Because you start to see guys deviate and they just totally bugged out. And has been assured of knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Verse 15. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation. That's the main game. That's the main goal, salvation. Not getting a little Hebrew Israelite name and clout and money on this side, because persecution is coming. All that stuff is going to get thrown out the window. All right. And you other Israelite leaders, man, you're going to fall right into this narrative, man. And this devil because a lot of you guys, you sold out, and he's going to snake bite your ass, man. Then you're going to be like, oh, man, the apostles and elders is right the whole time. Yeah. It says, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Hamashiach Yahushai. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, not by you guys. So that's why we got to keep it simple. And it's profitable for doctrine. Yeah, sound doctrine. For reproof, we have to keep reproving you guys. Like the Apostle Tahar says, we have to come up and clean you guys' shoddy work up. For correction. And that you got a lot of you guys get mad because you getting corrected. Well, like we just did a lesson live today with the officer Kashakwala, the officer Shamak, the priest Kalalia, myself. A lot of you guys are just getting bent out of shape as far as correction. We get corrected. We get rebuked. We get reproved. For correction, for instruction in righteousness. In righteousness. Not out of hating and anger like you guys say, oh, you guys are hating, man. You guys are haters. No, it says for correction and instruction in righteousness, man. So we got to keep it simple as being servants of Yahweh Shai, because there's a lot of false doctrines going around. You don't want to get caught up. And I'm probably just gonna end it off on this. This ain't gonna be too long. Hebrews 5 and verse 12. For the time you ought to be teachers, a lot of these proud, high-minded, puffed up guys, you have need that one teach you again. Hey, we had to be taught again. We had to be basically brainwashed. Everything that we learned here in America was a filthy lie. And that comes with humility. It says, for the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. You got to get down to the milk scriptures, the basics. Salvation is for Israel, the name of the Lord, who salvation is for. All right, the 12 tribes, the Israelite foreigners. Then you can get into Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, about the dry bones. Then you can get into Ezekiel 38th chapter, Gog and Magog. Then you can get to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, where it talks about basically the Most High is against Gog and Magog. He's going to he's totally against Gog and Magog. He's going to set example against those Russians as well. So we got to get into these milk scriptures. There's nothing wrong getting into the milk, getting into the Lashon Kadash, which Bishop Nathaniel strongly doesn't believe in. He says it's Hebrew Ebonics, and that's our language. Right? Well, they don't call themselves the Hebrew Israelites. They call themselves Israelites. They're just American Christian Israelites. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. Hell, man, I'm still a babe. Right? I'm still learning. I'm still getting the milk and building myself up through the Spirit. Lord willing, I'm part of that number. But a lot of guys, hey, even these Johnny upstarts and these novices, man, they've been in the truth shorter than I have, and all of a sudden they're an elder. That doesn't make any sense. A lot of you guys been in the truth 3-4 years. All of a sudden you're Grand Poobah, and you want to buck up against the apostles and elders, man. All right. Well, you weren't even thought of when the Apostle Tahar was out there doing the work, and I believe Apostle Tahar came to the truth in 1985. You wouldn't even thought of. All right. It says, but strong meat belongeth to them that are full age, yea, the apostles and elders. All right. And other men, other camp heads, other men who are qualified to bring down the strong meat. So we got to keep it simple. All right. Because we got a lot of men, women, and children who are going to believe, and we got to break these scriptures down the right way. It says, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. All right, let's get this one in Hebrews. What's that? Hebrews 13 and 17 or something like that. Hebrews 13, I think it's verse 16. Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. Yeah, the apostles and elders, they watch for our souls. Well, that this breakdown that Bishop Nathaniel did is totally wrong. The ISUPK is wrong. Okay, Adam Abbott, Wi-Fi, they're dead ass wrong. Watch out for these guys. Watch out for these other bug outs. That's what. Then you got other elders like Elder Renatus Akbar from South Carolina, warning brothers. So a lot of guys just have that black woman spirit, or they always trying to get on me, or they always trying to talk about somebody they're hating. No, it's correction to warn you. So that's why we got to keep it simple, because we got to warn the congregation of these malicious wolves. It says, for they watch for your souls, as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. All right, we got to obey those that have the rule over us. That's why we say we give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because they'll give us the milk and break these scriptures down, and in turn we teach others as well what we learn, the correct doctrine. Now I want to get back. I want to go into the Old Testament and get this Deuteronomy 13 and 5, because this is very serious. All right, what we're doing here, we can't be breaking scriptures down the wrong way. Deuteronomy 13 and 5, and that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he have spoken to turn you away from the Lord, your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy power commanded thee to walk in. So the Lord commanded us to walk in his way, but you got other guys that are saying, nah, I don't know about that, Lord. I got my own breakdown. You're going to get put to death. All right. And judgment is coming. You know, these other Israelite camps, man, they're playing with fire. Obviously, they don't know about the fear of the Lord. First of all, they don't even tell you the name of the Lord. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. Let's get this in the NLT. The false prophets or visionaries who try to lead you astray must be put to death, for they encourage rebellion against the Lord your power. See, Bishop Nathaniel encourages a rebellion. What happened to Korah, Dathan, and Abiram when they came up against Moses? The Lord swallowed their ass up along with their families. See, a lot of you Israelites, man, you got families, you got children, and you're all about rebellion. And the Lord is going to start touching you Israelites, man. That's why it's important to keep it simple, right? For they encourage rebellion against the Lord your power, who redeemed you from slavery and brought you out of the land of Egypt. Since they tried to lead you astray from the way the Lord your power commanded you to live, you must put them to death. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Yeah, that leaven that's creeping up. Hey, so with that, Lord, when I was edifying, we just got to keep it simple. Shalom.